What's going on, everybody? The world is a better place because you're here to join us. My name is Matt Brown, and I am the host of the Productive Conversations. And another urgent productive conversation must be had straight off the presses at 4:02 p.m. on Monday, the 23rd of June, 2025. President Donald J. Trump said this on Truth Social. Congratulations to everyone. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire. In parentheses, in approximately 6 hours from now, when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in progress final missions for 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended. Officially, Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire, and upon the 24th hour, an official end to the 12-day war will be saluted by the world. During each ceasefire, the other side will remain peaceful and respectful on the assumption that everything works as it should, which it will. I would like to congratulate both countries, Israel and Iran, on having the stamina, courage, and intelligence to end what should be called the quote 12-day war. This is a war that could have gone on for years and destroyed the entire Middle East, but it didn't and never will. God bless Israel. God bless Iran. God bless the Middle East. God bless the United States of America. And God bless the world. That was said and hosted by Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. So yes, also the tale of the story here. President Trump announced a complete and total ceasefire between Iran and Israel. The ceasefire is phased in over 24 hours, brokered with the help of Qatar and Turkey, two countries with diplomatic access to both sides. Trump's statement, quote, stopping the bloodshed and avoiding full-scale war. Why is this a big deal? The past 12 days saw the most intense fighting between Iran and Israel in decades. Missile exchanges, cyber attacks, and regional spillover has escalated quickly. This has been one of the few moments of direct U.S. mediation between the two adversaries. Trump's reemergence into foreign policy conversations adds to the political weight as well. What are the global and regional reactions? Israel, mixed response. Some far right leaders skeptical of pausing military pressure on Iran. Others are relieved. Iran itself, state media cautiously optimistic, but the military has not officially commented yet. But they did comment with Reuters that they agreed to a ceasefire. United States allies, NATO, and the European Union largely support the de-escalation. Questions about Trump's legitimacy as a mediator, though. The Gulf states like Saudi Arabia monitoring closely, concerned about Iran's growing influence in the region. And can this ceasefire actually hold? Historians say not likely unless followed by diplomacy and concessions. No word on long-term issues like nuclear enrichment, Hezbollah involvement, and further cyber attacks. And this positions Trump. Will this position Trump as a peacemaker? Could this move contrast any of the previous administration's foreign styles, especially regarding the Middle East? Times will tell. Critics do add that Trump is capitalizing on chaos that he helped foster himself. And that's a tale of the tape and the notes I have there. But regardless, at this time of this recording and this episode drop, Iran and Israel have agreed to a ceasefire, which I'm sure all people can agree on. I have Ryan Page here to add his thoughts and insights on the matter. I would love to hear what you got to say, Mr. Page.
Yeah, I'm personally just glad that, yeah, we have another emergency podcast, but for much better circumstances than the last one, which was when we, of course, got directly involved in the fighting with our mission with the bunker busters. I think this might even surprise Matt to say, I think a lot of what we're hearing from historians, while maybe technically true, is just not honestly not relevant right now, but it's not relevant right now. We're 24 hours away from peace in the Middle East. We got away with destroying their not peace in the Middle
No,
East. You know
no,
what I mean?
I love
Yeah.
that term. I've heard forever,
Oh yeah.
and
And
you rarely
obviously,
use it.
yeah. And to be clear, there's Israel and the whole Gaza situation that's not ending right now. But like this could have been a bad war, as the president pointed out, and we're 24 hours away, as long as everything goes as it's supposed to, from it ending. Um, we, meaning the United States, went in and dropped like 12 missiles on Iran, and all we got was like one missile to a Air Force base in
Yeah,
Qatar. Like that's all we had. That's the only price we had to pay for directly getting involved in destroying their nuclear program they've been building for 30 years, apparently. Um, so I think we should just take this. Obviously, again, 24 hours till the war ends, as Trump said. By the way, that was in his tweet. So phase one starts. Phase two comes after that. As long as both sides by the end of phase two have honored the agreement and not attacked one another, there will be, at least for the short term, peace between the two nations, and we're a lot more likely to see lasting peace if they're not actively shooting each other. So I
yeah,
think this is the critical first step. So cautiously optimistic. Again, we have to make it through 24 hours, but we've already gone through 12 days and nothing broke irreparably. So hopefully, I'm hopeful that the next 24 hours will end well. Um, and it will end well, not just for those two countries, obviously, but for us, because
for
that was a
sure.
big thing. What's going to happen to our soldiers overseas? Seems like at the moment, nothing, which is good. We don't want Americans to be hurt. But yeah, I don't know about like the long term. I don't think we should sit here and proclaim totally fixed. No one's ever going to fight over those two nations ever again. That's like, but that would be unfair to claim that. Even,
Yes.
and I'm a skeptic of the president, and I know that's unfair to be like, ah, yeah, you did one thing, and now two nations with beef will never ever fight ever again. That's a crazy standard. But if it holds and ends this week, the conflict, then that's, I think, huge. Huge for peace, huge for both nations, and frankly, huge for the president, who was taking a lot of flack, I think rightfully so, for dropping the bombs initially and getting involved. But if you're going to get involved, wrapping it up within 24 hours after getting involved is definitely the best way to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, if you're going to put your nose in there, then you want it to end like this. And so I think that this was the best outcome we could have had given our previous actions. And that's good. That means he was able to get the deal done.
Three straight shows on this. Three straight. And
And we wrapped up. It's
yeah,
too. It's like it started, it escalated, and then it finished in a row.
all within a weekend. A little more
12.
fun. Yeah, 12
I mean,
days.
our involvement was about
Yeah.
a weekend. Yeah, the American involvement was about a weekend. The whole thing was like 12 days. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've just it's I, I feel great on this. At least at this moment, living in the moment,
hmm
we could take that as the win. I know there's people with various opinions that they're entitled to this world, but at least for today, you can hopefully sleep a little calmer. Of course, we got a long way to go in general,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I think
Um,
that's just the win for today. And
I
why it's
agree.
important enough to give the show this um its own podcast, figuring out ways to handle it. Fundamentally, doesn't it make sense to put this and then talk about a trade in the NBA or how to
Equally
shoot your
important.
shot or two streaming services? I,
How
this
to
is
shoot your
another big
shot would have
deal.
been inappropriate.
Yeah.
War in the Middle East. How to shoot your shot.
Oh boy.
Oh, that would have been horrible.
But I do appreciate your patience, Ryan, with this. I know, we had our figuring out ways to go back and forth. I genuinely mean that. And sticking to it and being able to still do this as well. There's various opinions, especially when something happens right now, but now that we're recording approximately 5 hours since this, and have been putting on the news next to me of a TV. I'll
Mhm.
have a four box with four different sources, all claiming their things. They're saying what they have to do to adhere to their demographics. But at the end of the day, the core thing is the fact that there is some semblance of a ceasefire and
Mhm.
peace.
Yeah.
And even with this administration, whether you like it or not, doesn't matter. It's the idea of the United States of America being involved in something peaceful.
Yeah.
Whether, again, you could argue should they have been there in the first place? That's a fair argument, but at least, I was telling somebody this, and who, you know, has various opinions different than mine. I said, well, you don't have a time machine. You can't
Right.
go back to
Right.
stop it in the first place. So what can we do now in the moment?
Right. And that's true. I think that's 100% true. You can dislike that we went, and people should. I do.
Yeah, same
But
here.
we did, right? There's no way
Yeah.
around that. So this is, like I said, the best ending. I do wanted to say, and this was the main part of what I wanted to say when we were having our internal conversations.
Hmm.
And I've been seeing it on my feed, and I think my feed is probably a lot like the people who I'm talking about right now on social medias. You're
Hmm.
going to see a ton of people try and tell you that this isn't true. There is no evidence. You can, and I'm saying this as someone, again, if you've listened to our show before, you know how I think. So I'm with you guys. I'm with you guys. Reuters has this. The Guardian has this. ABC News has this. Everyone has this.
Productive Conversations has this.
Productive Conversations has this. We've been on it since the beginning. I'm not saying right now with 100% certainty that after this, as these ceasefire, as these periods of peace begin, that when we get to the other side, it'll all be perfect. I don't know. No one knows. The time machine thing cuts both ways, but this is true. This is happening. What we can't do is let the fear ratchet up in our country over misinformation. Misinformation is a real problem, and I know it's a lot of times we associate it with one type of misinformation, and that's fine. But there's other types, including the types, and this is the time that I'll use it, even though I've been pushing back on Matt for 2 episodes straight about this now. This is where the fear-mongering misinformation comes in. Taking a victory, or at least the semblance of a victory, and making it a loss, making it a defeat, making people scared about it. Don't let that happen. Be on your guard. Don't let people push you around and say this isn't real. It is real. Will it work? Who knows? Nobody knows anything. But it's
Yeah,
real. And that alone is worth celebrating.
exactly, man. And I feel, that's really all we have to say regarding this and this update. So it's a great thing, short and sweet. I feel this is an appropriate way to end. Why don't we see our new favorite content creator, John Cho, the cool history teacher? See what he said. He does exactly half an hour ago from this. I
Perfect.
haven't watched the clip, so we're
We'll
going
learn
in cold with
together.
this. So let's just see what John Cho says and not the crazy Jeff who we had the other way.
Yeah,
I don't
crazy
have his
Jeff.
opinion on this, but we have Mr. Cho here. Let's see what he says.
That this 12-day war, so it appears that this 12-day war between Iran and Israel is over, or at the very least, de-escalating. However, none of you should be surprised by this, and I'll tell you how we got here. So earlier today, we found out that Iran retaliation toward the United States was by targeting a U.S. base in Qatar. First of all, the Iranians gave Qatar plenty of notice that this was coming. Qatar then told the United States. So there were no casualties, no injuries, no deaths. Iran launched the same number of missiles to that U.S. base today that we launched over the weekend to those 3 Iranian nuclear facilities. Coincidence? I think not. This is Iran's MO. It's always been. Let me give you a quick history lesson. Back in January of 2020, the U.S. killed then Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. And what did Iran do to retaliate against the United States? They bombed a U.S. base in Iraq. But they gave us the heads up that this was coming. So there was hardly any casualties in that one too. This is Iran's MO. All of these retaliatory measures by Iran is just posturing. It's just them trying to flex for their citizens, saying, look, we did something back. We didn't just stand back and take it. We fought back. And this time, this was pure 100% a show. Because if Iran continued down this path, their leadership was going to be overthrown. So to save face, they had to do this fake retaliation. But this is not the first time they've done this. So it appears that this 12-day war
Thank you,
between
Mr.
Iran
Cho.
and
Yeah, the Soleimani, yeah, same thing. They bombed a base after we killed their general. Helps that, I mean, not for nothing, it's gonna be horrible. Helps that a bunch of the terrorist groups have actually very recently been destroyed by the U.S. and Israel too.
Yeah.
Like they have like those extra, those extra guys on the ground to help them out, but recently they've not been having such a good time with the whole cell phone thing. We talked about that, and then
Hmm.
remember when the signal chat leaked? The
Yes. Yes, I
that
do.
was that was against Iranian-backed terrorists as well. So we destroyed a bunch of their stuff on that one. So yeah, they're running out of, their extra, or I don't want to say special forces or whatever, but they're running out of their militia groups too, which is probably helpful in
We'll
determining
take
how
that.
you go forward. Yeah, exactly. Take a win when we get one.
Take a win when we get one. I think that is a perfect way to end this. Just a simple, quick show on this, reacting to instant reaction to the ceasefire between Iran and Israel. So we'll take that. Just also check out our tweet cap for today for the fun stuff that happened over the weekend.
Yeah.
And you know, got a sports tweet cap on Wednesday, Magic Mind Thursday. We're gonna hold off the AI till next month because I had
Yeah.
enough of
Too
uh
much negative
things
with
to
this
think.
whole this
Yeah,
whole stuff. Yeah.
but then another tweet cap Friday, then it'll take the week off in a celebration of America week with the 4th of July. Anyways, great work. We will see you all soon.